This is actually quite nice tea, this Thai fruit one.
This time, I thought.
It's good. It's not Twinings, but it's alright.
Hi guys, my name is Tom and I'm the Tech Chap, and welcome to episode 3 of Tea and Tech. Thank you very much for joining us. I'm pleased to be with my good friend Mr. Will Newing today.
Nice to see you, Tom.
Thank you for coming on the show. Will here is a very avid reader and couldn't wait to come on Tea and Tech to tell me about, well, what are we talking about today?
I thought today, Tom, we could talk about sort of eBooks, e-readers, how we read on tech in general, and really just work out if it's an advantage or a disadvantage to involve tech and literature.
If you're at home, you've got a Kindle reader, an iPad, and a physical hardback or paperback, which would you grab?
Straight away, I'm going for the Kindle.
Oh, really?
Basically, because when you're... If it's a bigger book, so say 500 pages plus, if you're reading in bed, as I typically do, or sort of sprawled, so it's above you. If that makes sense.
Sprawled.
Yeah, but if you're on the sofa lying back,
sure,
you're not gonna be sat there sort of like we are now, holding it like this.
Yes,
it's gonna
be above your head.
Yeah. Or you'll be on your side, or whatever. And to have to hold a physical book, you need two hands.
You do.
Especially if it's like a longer one.
Yeah.
So the Kindle, it can be above your head, it can be on your side, and you just need one hand to turn the pages.
That's
and
true.
Then you can have coffee, tea, wine, port on the other hand.
So the size of the Kindle and the weight and the ease of use for one-handed use is something that really is a big deal.
And I have, I don't know if you remember the Kindles with the keyboards.
Oh, the old ones. Okay.
So I've got one. They discontinued almost as soon as I bought it. So they still sell the 3G one with the keyboard, I think.
I think so. Is that what you have?
No, I have one that's just wireless, but it has a
Wi-Fi.
keyboard. And I think they stopped selling that in about 2012.
Have you ever used the keyboard?
Yeah, I will tend to buy the books I read, even though it's so easy to do on Amazon. I will go through the Kindle to buy the books I want to read.
You buy it from the actual device?
From the actual device.
Okay.
So when I'm searching,
type it in. That makes sense.
And also it's quite useful because I get a lot of books for free on a site called Project Gutenberg.
I don't know what that is.
So basically anything that's out of copyright. So say you wanted to read Thomas Hardy, Dickens, that would be available free, and it's optimized for the Kindle on this website. So but obviously I can't download that from another device, so I have to be on the Kindle. I use the keyboard quite a lot, but most people probably wouldn't.
So you read a lot, and in your day job, what was it you do every day?
So I'm in HR, in the civil service, day to day, but obviously living in London, you're commuting for a minimum of half an hour tube. So the Kindle comes into its own for me because I'm balanced, I'm not going to be pushed over, I can still read, and I will tend to lose myself in the book in the same way I would if I was just at home.
Well, that's interesting.
If I'm on the tube, whereas if I've got to be constantly balancing to turn the page, it interrupts it.
Because we'll talk a bit later about the benefits and pros and cons of e-readers versus tablets versus physical print books, because you're saying that you get really immersed in it. And that's something I'm surprised about, given how the e-ink display on e-readers, although obviously it doesn't strain your eyes, people think it's black and white, it's not particularly nice to look at. Obviously books are predominantly black and white. But compared to a tablet, perhaps an iPad, where you get a lot more rich content, I'm surprised that you still are saying that you get that immersive experience. But we'll talk about that later. But you're saying that the one-handed use, the ease of use, the comfort is a big deal for you.
A big factor for me. Like I say, if someone had bought me a book for Christmas and I had it on the Kindle anyway,
you'd read it on the Kindle?
I would read it on the Kindle, yeah.
So that's interesting that we're talking about the device we use, because now we've established with you like a Kindle, but you don't mind a physical book.
I like a physical book.
Do you own an actual tablet?
I do. I've got an iPad Air 2.
But you don't use it to read?
I don't even have the Kindle app on it, which is strange because presumably everything I buy
is there free for you to download.
Free for me to download on that too. But I don't like the fact it's backlit.
Okay, well I can understand that. People like to read last thing at night, and it often keeps people awake. There's science to suggest that the light of tablets and phones keep you awake. I think it is. Yeah. It's associated with the morning or something, and
wakes you up.
Sleep with it. So you have the most recent iPad, but that's interesting because before we filmed this, we were discussing what we should compare e-readers to, and naturally the physical print paper or hardback books come up, but also tablets, because the area we'll move on to now is that e-readers themselves are suffering in terms of sales.
Yeah.
People are thinking it's the end of the ebook, end of the e-reader, and there is data and reports to suggest locally in the UK from Waterstones who partner and use Amazon's Kindle, that the sales of Kindle is going way down. The peak was in, I think, 2011.
Really?
And since then it's been going down and down and down. But interestingly, people then associate that with ebooks generally decreasing in sales. But it's not. It's just the dedicated e-readers, the Kobos, the Nooks, the Kindles. And because, as you mentioned, the Kindle app on your tablet.
Every device, really.
On every device, on your phone, your tablet, which has your library already there, people don't need to necessarily go out and buy a dedicated e-reader anymore.
No.
And if they do, then they may already have one, like you have. You have one from, what, 5 years ago?
This is it, yeah.
And you don't feel like you want to get a new one?
No, I don't need a new one, and the memory is so vast they give you. I don't think I got one that was in any. I don't even know if they are enhanced memory, but the one I got was completely standard, run of the mill, and I've got more memory than I think I could ever use on it. So it's never going to get full. If it did get full, I can delete it, and
very quickly.
Stored on the cloud anyway, aren't they? So.
And if you went on holiday with something, you'd take 2-3 books max.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna. You can fit that on a Kindle.
Exactly. Yes. It's never going to
times 1,000.
And again, you're unlikely to break it because unlike a phone where it's in and out your pocket the whole time and you're dropping it, with a Kindle it's sort of at the very most in and out of bag. And again, just you'd sort of naturally, I suppose, would not break it as often. So you wouldn't need to replace it, which is
so that's interesting. You love the Kindle. You love the idea of an e-reader. But yet we see that the sales have declined significantly of e-readers.
Yes.
One, because perhaps you don't feel like you want
people like me would never buy another one.
There's no need to buy another one.
Yeah.
And also the fact that tablets are perhaps getting lighter, they're getting nicer to use, and the apps actually on the tablets are available.
And I guess with phones, it's sort of almost a fashion accessory, so you need to have the newest one, or you might want to have the newest one, but you're never going to need to be seen with the newest e-reader.
The innovation isn't there.
Yeah,
is it?
Exactly. It's going to be the same as it was 5 years ago, so what's the point?
I agree, and it's perfectly usable for you now.
Yeah.
It's interesting. But there's a bigger issue here than just what is your preferred device. I think there's something called knowledge retention. People have issues with actually taking on board what they're reading if it's from a digital screen. Now, we're both relatively recent university graduates, and I'm sure, like me, you used to read a lot of textbooks.
Yes.
And love doing it.
Always, yeah. Always a pleasure, never a chore. Yeah.
Now, for me, this is very similar to if you've written something, I can't easily proofread it on a monitor.
No, not
I like to print it. If it's a serious thing, I like to print it out and read it through on paper.
Yeah, hard copy. Yeah.
Hard copy. There's a study commissioned last year from a Norwegian university. It was led by, I believe, a woman called Anna Mangan, and she did a study where she put 50 people to read a certain fictional book. Half of them would read a paperback copy, and the other half would read it on a Kindle or on a Kindle equivalent.
Okay.
And the research showed that significantly so, the people who read the paperback, the physical copy, retained a lot more of the information. It was a murder mystery,
and
that's
interesting.
they could
quite a lot of those.
They could recall a lot more of the plot afterwards when they were tested.
Oh, right.
And I've seen a few other studies that suggest that people who do read on an iPad or a Kindle, so essentially just will compartmentalize digital versus print and physical.
Right. And actually read it differently and
they read it differently, retain it differently. So I think why that is kind of interesting to talk about.
Yeah, I don't know obviously the parameters of the test, but certainly I suppose you're more likely to be reading if you are reading on some sort of device on the go. Whereas
I think, from my understanding, they were both sat in a room.
Oh right, okay. I don't know.
So it's simply just the format, you're not on commuting or something.
So something to do with the fact it's actually you sort of touching it, as it were.
Yeah.
Is helpful in remembering what you're reading.
Well, yeah. So there's parts of senses here that we're not appreciating, and there's something I think to see the progression of pages on the right get thinner as the pages on the left get thicker.
Yeah.
You can see a physical progress.
Yeah.
Perhaps the touch of the paper, the smell of it. The
kind of thing. But then there's a progress bar certainly on the Kindle.
But do you really see that in the same way?
I think I do. Yeah.
You see if a little slider is a quarter along the way, that would be as significant to you as you open the book again. You can see how much of a chunk you've read.
I think so, because it actually gives you a percentage. So if you're sat there with like a book, you'd be like, oh, you don't think, oh, I'm a quarter of the way through the book. Whereas on the Kindle, it's like you're literally 25% of the way through.
if we go back to university textbooks or technical books, actually educational books, I would the iPad is a lot better. I'm using iPad as a general tablet device. Of course, there are alternative brands available.
BBC.
Yeah, that's why we've got to be very careful.
Yeah.
So you can, on a tablet, which is more as opposed to an e-reader, the content will be a bit richer. You'll have colours. You can perhaps zoom in on graphs and charts, and in textbooks you perhaps are presented a bit better. So what my point here would be that e-readers would be the worst, things like the Kindle, if you're going to read a textbook or a technical book.
Yes, I would agree with that. Two things I tried. I tried downloading because you can buy magazines and things on the Kindle, and I tried getting Foreign Affairs. I was going through a pretentious stage at university.
You haven't come out of it, have you?
No, I haven't. Yeah, still in that. But I thought, I'll read this. I'm a worldly guy. I want to know what's going on. But I didn't like it on the Kindle at all. And I was surprised when I picked up the actual magazine in the shop that I actually wanted to read it.
Right.
Whereas on the Kindle, I never actually wanted to read it. I thought to force myself to, so I could.
That's interesting.
Obviously, be interesting at dinner parties, but
didn't work.
No, I didn't want to read it. And the same thing, I read a lot of fantasy, and in fantasy books you get a lot of maps.
Okay.
Obviously, of
and
the
they
world.
don't come out well on a.
No. So
Right.
if I ever buy fantasy, I would always buy the print book.
Sure. Okay, interesting.
Because you need to, because if you get to say, and this is another disadvantage with the e-readers, I'm guessing any e-reader, but if you get, say, 75% of the way through and it says so-and-so went to this city, you have no idea where that is, and you need to go and have a look at the map at the start. So with a real...
You can flick back instantly to
straight away.
Right.
But on the Kindle, you got to press the buttons, and you got to find your place, and you just don't end up doing it, so you don't know what's going on. So...
Well, for me, a similar... No, not similar. At university, I studied law, and I found that the textbooks would be really expensive. Obviously, you could use them in the library. Not all of them are available well.
No, not all the time.
So sometimes you do have to buy an expensive textbook, and often then
You didn't use it, though, did you?
didn't use it. You'd have to highlight it, or you'd dog ear it.
Yeah,
Or you'd make it your own. You'd make notes on it, and you could. And certain textbooks were available, for example, on the Kindle store, or even from the bookstore on Apple on iOS, and for a lot less money. Like you could save a lot of money on it. And I tried it, but you don't get the same physicality with it. You don't get the same. You
can't interact with it.
You can't. Your highlighter pen doesn't go well on it.
It ruins your whole device.
It ruins the iPad.
But it's 60 quid. It's, if anything, less to buy the e-reader.
You may as well just buy e-reader.
Yeah. If we're talking about, I suppose, advantages of real books, the bookshelf is something that I really like. And if you're going to, I don't know, decorate a house, again, if you got those big pretentious titles, say you have read
all the Dickens, the War and Peace,
But if you have read those things, obviously you want people to know that you said them.
Obviously.
Because what's the point otherwise?
You still don't care about it, do you?
Yeah, exactly. And you can't just leave your Kindle lying around. Oh, they might turn it on and notice that I've got those titles. But if you've got a bookshelf, everyone knows, Tom. Everyone knows you've read that.
I actually do know you're joking, thankfully.
Yeah.
But that is interesting. There is a certain furniture.
And to be sort of serious, I think that a bookshelf is probably the most. I would think it's the most decorative thing I would want in my house.
I agree. People come in, they may look at your DVD rack, they'll judge you based on your movies.
Yeah.
And then people will look at your bookshelf.
Yeah, exactly. And then conversations aren't going to start around the Kindle. You're not going to say, "Oh, look, you've got the Kindle," and if it does, it will be, "Oh, how's that compared to the iPad?"
Yeah, that will be what people talk about.
You're not actually going to be talking about the books.
Absolutely right.
Whereas with a bookshelf, obviously, you have that, and the same in cafes. Say you were single, Tom.
Yeah. Just say.
Just imagine.
Yeah.
Obviously, that's not likely. Say you were. Girl, they're reading a physical book. You can see what she's reading. It's a conversation.
I can
starter.
judge based on it.
Exactly. Or you can go up to her and say, "Oh, I've read a similar thing, or I've read that."
But
or
what
that
if
interesting.
I want to read 50 Shades of Grey on the tube?
You're embarrassed.
I am embarrassed, but I can get away with it on an e-reader.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I forgot.
What if I want to catch up with the latest?
I don't know what people read.
No, I don't. It's trashy these days.
Say you are reading 50 Shades, because that's a good example. Or Twilight. That whole Twilight series was a waste of everyone's time. So you are reading those books. You can hide them, particularly if you, I don't know why you would necessarily, as a man, be reading romance and that kind of thing. But say you were and you're ashamed of it, at least you can hide it on the Kindle.
So you attribute an advantage to a physical book because it's physical, because it's there, people can see it.
Yes.
But on the other hand, if you were to have the Kindle app and this is just for example on the iPad, you get your own sort of library.
It's gone. Sorry.
It's gone. You get your own library within the app. So it's not, I mean, I'm not saying you necessarily place this on your bookshelf.
Oh, look.
Always
what
on.
I have, yeah.
But you can see your collection.
Yes.
If a collection is something that's important to you, seeing your collection.
I think for me, actually, I would like to see. Yeah, that is actually interesting because, like I say, I avoid reading these things on the tablets, but you do get that advantage there of seeing the covers and the cover art, which obviously we shouldn't be judging books by their covers. But it's nice to see them.
There's something about that, isn't there?
Yeah, I think what we're trying to say is that if you want to study, you're not going to be using a Kindle. You're not going to be using. You might be using a tablet, but you're going to want a real book.
I think, yeah.
But I don't know if knowledge retention is important with
it usually is.
novels, though.
Well, that's true.
Because they did it on, for example, a murder mystery.
They did.
And unless,
does it matter if you don't remember what's happened?
If
you've
enjoyed
the
story,
process?
Does it matter if you remember afterwards?
Unless you're in a book club and you want to talk about it?
Yeah, if you're in the book club, or like me, you want to pontificate at dinner parties, then...
You want to be the soul of wit?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But no, I don't know how important to a fiction reader knowledge retention is.
You're right. So if I said to you, you had to go out and buy a brand new device, a brand new digital device to read your books on.
Okay.
What would you go for now? I know you have quite a fairly old Kindle.
Very old, yeah.
But if you had a fairly low budget, let's
Okay.
start with that. What would you go out and buy now? Because there's a few options on the market.
So if I had to go out and buy something that wasn't sort of a traditional, or wasn't a Kindle.
Well, Kindles are still options. I mean, they've gone into the tablet territory a bit more now with the Kindle HDs, HDXs. And I think, again, that's interesting because they've lost almost one of the unique selling points of an e-reader,
Which is
the display, which doesn't strain your eyes.
Yeah, not backlit.
And the battery lives
are
significantly
that's
better.
true.
We haven't really just touched on that yet.
We haven't touched on that at all.
So obviously battery lives are a huge pro for e-readers, but as people prefer tablets, as they prefer to do other things on the tablets,
Yeah.
e-readers going down in sales, and as a result, people are Amazon, for example, are now releasing HDX Amazon Kindle tablets.
Yes.
So how about that? Would you don't like the touchscreen on the newer Paperwhite?
No, I don't like it at all.
But if you had to go and buy a new one, would you buy a HDX tablet e-reader?
I'm not sure. If I could afford any of those devices, I wouldn't want to. If they said they're completely discontinuing the traditional Kindles,
Yeah, let's go with that.
They're just going to be doing Fires from now on.
Yeah.
I would have to go out and get something like a Kobo or still a traditional e-reader.
Right. Okay.
I can see some of the advantages of having the tablet. But as we've just said, actually, battery life's a big one because I can, at the moment, take the Kindle on holiday with me. And it's not going to run out. The other thing is, if say you've got the tablet, you're going to be having notifications popping up. You're going to be having this and that going on.
Getting rid of the immersion.
And if you so you can say, oh well, you can put airplane mode on, but then why have you gone out and bought a tablet? It just
that's true.
It just doesn't seem to be something that I would use. But I don't know if because obviously you're much more into tablets and things. Would you want to read on a sort of a tablet?
Well, it's difficult. That's why I've got you on here because you're more of an avid reader than I. This is why he's a guest.
Answer the questions well.
I ask the questions.
That's how this works. Okay.
I think I read a small amount, but.
If I told you quite forcefully that you had to read, you have to read 2 novels in the next week, and you can choose how to do it. What would you do?
A good question.
You're not allowed a book. You're not allowed a physical book. You've got to choose something tech related.
As much as I would like to, it's an iPad, and it would be an iPad. I think
Really?
a lot of the Android tablets, not quite so much recently, but they're in a 16:9 aspect ratio, which are great for watching movies. You get smaller letterboxing, but the 4:3, or was it maybe 3:2 aspect ratio of an iPad is more akin to a magazine, more akin to a book.
Yeah.
So it's more comfortable to hold. Again, you're going to get bigger letterboxing if you're watching movies, but for reading magazines,
Slightly more natural.
natural. So I would go for an iPad.
Okay.
Turn the brightness down so it's not quite so straining.
Yeah.
And pack a charger.
Yeah, pack a charger, airplane mode on.
But the problem is then that is in the that's in the perfect world. But iPads are £400-500.
True.
In the UK we have the worldwide, but Tesco have introduced a budget tablet called the Huddle. We're onto the Huddle 2 now, and they're very, very good value. They're solid sort of Android 4.4 quad-core processors, I believe, HD screens. So they're very capable, and they're really good value. You can get them for about £90. Well, I suppose that's what, $140, $150. Great value, very capable Kindle app. And what's that? A fifth of the price of an iPad? And
That's true.
I'd say you're getting 80% of the experience, maybe 90%.
That's true, yeah. But then I suppose if you're only buying it as an e-reader, do you even want to be spending the extra 40 on top of what you could be getting? I don't know how much Kobos are. Or
I think we're talking £60 area.
Yeah, it's about
60,
that, isn't it? So £40 more. And I suppose...
Actually, sorry to interrupt, the Kindles are quite expensive. There's a new Kindle Voyage, which is similar to the paper white, but it's some of the most premium one they offer. £170.
Yeah, it is quite expensive.
But the standard paper white, which is the sort of default model that you'd go for, which is the one I just showed you earlier, £110.
And it seems...
So it's tablet money. It's tablet money, not just e-reader money anymore.
I wouldn't be spending that. And again, it seems to me that the more you spend on an e-reader, the further you're going away from what I actually want.
Yeah,
which is something that's more
life.
Similar to a book than a tablet.
Right.
And it seems strange that the upgrade in e-readers is basically, well, they have become tablets with Fire, classically.
Yes, I think that's a great example of it.
But generally speaking, they've become more like tablets. They've got touchscreen mode now. They're backlit, frontlit. I don't know what they are. But I don't want any of that. I would want to leave it alone and sell me an e-reader so I can read my books without having emails popping up and all that kind of thing.
So we're agreed that e-books have a future. E-books are great, perhaps not necessarily for educational or technical purposes, but for general reading, for just normal reading, we like an e-book.
And we haven't actually mentioned that they are quite a lot cheaper than...
They are, well, that's another point.
Which is probably worth bringing up because, say you're going to Waterstones, I don't know if they have that in the US.
Or Barnes & Noble or something.
Whatever it may be. Or
just Amazon.
I've asked them, depending, or just Amazon.
Like a physical book. They do sell books on Amazon.
That's true, yeah. If you're on the high street, you're going to be spending minimum, or every novel now, fiction, say it's a standard kind of detective kind of novel or a thriller, it's going to be $9.99.
At least.
At least.
Yeah, at least.
And that's even if it was, interestingly, if it was published 10 years ago, the price isn't going to be any cheaper.
No, it's not, because they'll be published as classics or as a different front cover, so they'll be more expensive.
Yeah.
So often you'll see on Amazon, you'll see a hardback. I've often wanted to buy a hardback book for a Christmas present. I think it's a better present than...
It is a better present than the voucher.
Than a voucher or an ebook token.
Yeah.
So if I've bought presents, and you often see that the hardback is, say, £12. The Kindle version, $7.99.
Often.
So, that's just one example, but you'll often see significant savings. I mean, obviously there's no overhead for keeping ebooks, and the digital distribution is essentially free except for some servers on Amazon's side and some upkeep. But
you do get charged VAT, but that's minimal.
That is minimal.
I don't know if that's a US thing, but certainly
minimal.
over here we do. But to be fair, you could get, say it's 5 years old, the chances are it's going to be between £2 and £5 on the Kindle, and so you're saving every time you buy a book £5, £6 quid.
So £10 time, you bought yourself an e-reader.
You
saved yourself at the price of an e-reader.
So it's I don't understand quite how books are going to compete with that in the future. And also, if you're unfortunate enough, like me, to live in London in a tiny... you've stayed there.
I have stayed there. It's cosy.
It's cosy, yeah. State agent talk. It's very intimate, very cosy.
Didn't have to be intimate, but it was.
Yeah. We don't have enough room for a bookshelf, and I know earlier...
You love a bookshelf.
Or later, depending on how it's edited. I will have been talking about how I want to see a bookshelf. But if you haven't got space, then it's great to be able to just store them all very cheaply on this device.
So we're agreed that ebooks have their place. They're cheaper, they're accessible, you can store them, you can use them on any device. But it's e-readers, as we're seeing with sales, that are suffering because to innovate on an e-reader, they're essentially becoming tablets.
Which is annoying for me.
Which reduces the battery life, increases eye strain, and you then may as well just buy a good value tablet.
Yes.
At that point. So ebooks, but we can agree there is a future for physical books and ebooks.
Yes, definitely.
Now, one of the other benefits of ebooks, beyond the fact that they're often cheaper, and the way that you read them on a digital device is advantageous in some ways, is people can self-publish. And I don't know if you know anyone who's written a book.
I don't know. I must admit I don't. I suppose it would be nice to think that the quality of people, of authors that are writing their own books, and then self-publishing them is going to be as high.
You'd like to think so.
I'd like to think so. I suppose the question I have is, essentially you've asked a whole editorial team to read that book and they've not enjoyed it. So
that's true.
But
some people don't necessarily have the time, the context, the understanding on how to actually get a book physically published. I think the days of sending a brown manila envelope with your 300-page book in to someone and then get it sent back to you 6 months later saying no is over. That seems quite antiquated.
Yeah.
You can create whatever. And I think the bigger point here is the creativity. You're not
That's true.
blinker. You're not restricted by what a publishing firm thinks is mainstream enough to sell.
That's a fair point. I suppose it's in the same way as you wouldn't get a TV channel, but you're making great quality videos, Tom.
Great quality video. That's a good comparison.
It's very much the vlogging of.
I hate that word.
The good. It's very much the video.
It's the equivalent.
It's the equivalent in the book world, I suppose.
Smaller budget, not necessarily a background in it.
No,
but you can attempt something. You can give it a go, and I hope you guys enjoy watching these videos on the Tech Chat. But I think, as Will makes a good point, you don't necessarily have to come from a background in the area. You can just give it a go. If people like it, if you're successful, great. If not, then well, you haven't necessarily put a lot of money or time into it.
No, maybe no time at all.
So the creativity that it allows, the freedom of expression, and then the audience that it can go to, hundreds of millions of devices. With whatever you want.
Yeah, so I agree with that, but I guess I would counter with, is it not that it's certainly my understanding that our friend 50 Shades began as online Twilight fan fiction? I think I'm right in saying.
I don't know, is that true?
Yeah, so this is going back to the quality argument again.
Where are you going with this?
Perhaps that would never have seen the light of day, Tom, and I'm not going to say that's a good thing or a bad thing. Let's just say I have to sit through the movie, which was...
Some great lines in there you like to quote to me, don't you?
Yeah, exactly. The trouble is, it's always sort of a race to the lowest common denominator, isn't it? And not always, but often. And yeah, I'm not having a go at self-publishing. I'm sure I am, but I don't want to be having a go at self-publishing. I think it's a good idea, but yeah, I do worry that necessarily it's not going to sort of broaden the horizons of literature.
The rich tapestry, what is
all that much
literature?
Yeah,
you're right.
Great idea, but I won't be buying them.
You won't be buying them. That's a great way to sum that up.
Yeah,
I think that is a great way to sum that up. So, Will, thank you very much for being here.
As always, Tom.
I hope you'll join us again on Tea and Tech for another episode. Hopefully
Yeah,
you will.
Absolutely.
If you'll come back.
I will do.
And thank you very much for watching at home. I hope you've enjoyed episode 3. If you want to find out more, check out thetechchat.com and follow me on Twitter at thetechchat. So there's nothing more to say than thank you very much for watching, and we'll hopefully see you again soon. Cheers, guys.